Hey there folks, Aldershot here, and today we're going to do an early impression on Project Nimbus, developed by GameCrafter team and on sale on Steam at the regular price of $15 USD. Now this game is on early access, so I do want to remind the folks out there that by the time you watch this video, the game very well could have changed or been updated. So at the very least, check the game's official Steam page just to make sure that you're up to date with the current version. A little self-research never hurt anybody, right? So let's actually take a look into what this current build has to offer. I should also mention that this is a flight mech game. That's probably pretty important. Let's take a look at the options, alright? So not too much in the way of graphics adjustment. You have a bunch of presets here, and you have a bunch of display resolutions, full screen, window, and a bunch of audio options here as well. So not very robust, but to be fair, it's kind of common in early access games. But it is worth mentioning, and hopefully they will address this down the road. Alright, then you got your meat and potatoes of the game, which is under play. You have your campaign, which you'll be spending most of your time, I believe, in this game, currently anyways, in this current build. And then you have survival as well. Survival is pretty much what you expect. It's wave after wave of enemy mobs. Kill them until you die yourself, and that's basically it. Alright, we'll talk a little bit more about that down the road. Alright, now being an early access game, obviously, this game is not quite complete, and currently in the campaign there's only one act available, which is of course Act 1. Counting the basic tutorial, there is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 missions in total. Now the missions do vary from scenario to scenario. It is just dogfighting over and over again, but you do it in different scenarios, in different presentations, I guess you can say. You have your, boss fights. We're not going to play through all the levels, obviously, but we'll quickly kind of talk about them. Alright, but we do have the boss fight, and then we have more of a close quarter kind of scenario, and this one is like a open skies kind of dogfighting kind of thing going on, and then we have more of a chase scene sort of scenario going on, and you have your tutorial, and this is more ground within urban area, etc, etc. I think you guys get the picture. But again, it is going to be mostly just dogfighting, but we'll talk a little bit more about that down the road. We're going to go into this one here just to talk about the game a little bit, because it gives you the most weapon options, so I can kind of talk about the gameplay a little bit better. Alright, so this is Project Nimbus. Now, the first thing that struck me about this game that I really was impressed by was how smooth the game was. The controls are very reactive. The game feels extremely fast, and I have to say, I understood the controls very quickly. The controls are well laid out, and the tutorial does a pretty good job explaining the going-ons in the game. You have your machine gun, you have a variety of different weapons, as you can see. Homing missiles, machine guns, what you would expect. Then you also can slow time as well, which I actually don't utilize a lot, but it's nice that it's there. I'm sure it will come in use if I play this game a little bit better. Then you have, let's see, you have more of a sniper rifle kind of weapon going on here. Smart missiles that you just launch and automatically homes. You got your funnels, which are like drones that attack where you target, which is pretty fun. And you have your dummies as well, which help distract enemies. Right now we're in a mission currently where we have to protect Air Force One, so we're just flying with Air Force One, waiting for waves after waves of enemies, just so you know what's going on right now. So they're the basic attacks I just described. We do have boosts as well. I've been using that plenty. Definitely a go-to maneuver. You'll see the boost meter rising and dropping the left-hand corner, or left-hand side, I should say. That's basically the controls of the game. Yeah, pretty basic, pretty easy to understand, I must say. Pretty well designed, and feels absolutely fantastic. Very reactive. The game feels incredibly fast. How quickly everything reloads and regenerate I think that really goes to show that this game wants you to move around fast. It wants you to dogfight. It wants you to dodge around and, you know, shoot things from a distance and get close to them if necessary. All right, so that's really cool. I like that design philosophy, if you will. The dogfighting feels absolutely fantastic, in combination with the well-designed controls and how easy it was for me to get a hold of the game. The dogfighting is very quick and can be very hectic at times as well. Sometimes, especially later on, you'll see in this mission, when there's when there's missiles incoming, you have to just start deploying flares. But if your flares aren't ready, then you have to do a lot of weaving and dodging and flying up and down and doing loop-loops and all this crazy stuff, and it feels absolutely fantastic and super fun. It really is. So what I'm trying to say is that this game feels fantastic. It's very fast, very reactive, and easy to understand. Overall, very enjoyable in the way it controls in its current version. So that's good. That's definitely a good thing. Now, something else I really liked about this game is how easy it was for me to orient myself with my surroundings. You know, this being a fast-moving flight game, I thought for sure I would get motion sick because I don't play a lot of flight games, or, you know, have trouble adjusting to where I am in the current world and all that sort of good stuff. But I have to say, they've designed certain visual cues that definitely has helped me adjust my orientation very quickly. The way that they visually show, you know, the groundwork, the landscape, as well as the clouds. There's not a lot of clouds in this level right now, but also the way the atmosphere kind of changes as you get to different altitudes. It's both very realistic, it looks absolutely fantastic, and most of all, helps you kind of visually figure out where you are in the world. You know, so again, it's all very impressive. Actually, overall, the visuals look quite nice. It's you know, it's quite sleek, and the atmosphere effect is very realistic and visually stunning, and also works its way into the gameplay as well. Again, helping you adjust your orientation. All right. The lighting is actually quite fantastic as well, and overall the models are, you know, they're pretty simple in textures, but they do the job. And to be honest, you're looking at dots on the radar most of the time because you are fighting from long distances, as you can see. Alright, and I should also mention that a lot of the missions, even though there's only one act and there is currently only 8 missions in the act, the missions are actually fairly lengthy. Now, it can be argued that it is really just a lot of waves after wave, dogfighting over and over again. That's actually a fair statement. It really is. It is going to be a lot of that, but this is early access, and I believe the developers, I think what they really want to showcase now is the actual flight combat, the dogfighting, its controls, and the overall graphical presentation currently. I think they're the message that they're trying to get across. Oh, I'm doing a terrible job at this mission. Air Force One is about to get shot down. But yeah, so that is something to keep in mind, okay? But, you know, with that said, what is here, the dogfighting and all that stuff, does feel really good. And that's something I want to get across, alright? Now, the game's not perfect. I am definitely praising it because I am very much enjoying it. Alright, but, you know, the game's not perfect. It is on early access, and because of that, the game, you know, does feel like it is lacking a little bit of content. You know, again, even though we just failed a mission. That's okay. We'll take this opportunity to explore a different mission. Now, I do want to mention that, as I was trying to say, it is a lot of the same thing over and over again. This is being early access, and that's kind of expected, but you know, it is something that you should know before jumping into it. So if you're not into monotonous gameplay, which this game does have a little bit in its current build, at least keep an eye on it. I think you should at least have it on your radar, no pun intended, because there's radar on the screen. But anyways, it is enjoyable for what it is currently. And if you're into mech or flight games, and if you are that way, then I think you should definitely keep an eye on it for sure, because of all the great things I've mentioned so far, you know, all the great controls and the visuals and all that kind of good stuff. But, you know, as I was trying to say, there's really not a whole lot of content currently in this current build, so do keep that in mind. Now, something I want to mention about this current map is that even though I praise the overall visuals of this game quite a bit so far, I feel this urban city area could use a bit of work. I'm hoping this city landscape here, especially the texture work, is just a lot of placeholders, because it's not that it's not appropriate for this game, or that even it's not even terrible quality. It's not bad quality, to be honest. It's just bland. It's like pattern textures just kind of layered on top of the models. You know, it's not interesting. There's no character to it. You know, it looks, to be blunt, it looks lazy in comparison to the rest of the game. Again, I'm hoping that the city is just a placeholder. It is minor, but it is something that I've noticed, alright? So that's definitely something, okay? But overall, it does look pretty good though. You know, again, the lighting, like, look at these clouds. These are absolutely fantastic looking clouds. Absolutely fantastic looking clouds. It really is. And just overall how well this game feels is very, very enjoyable, I must say. Alright, well, let's get out of this. I think you guys kind of get the picture as far as the core gameplay is concerned. I want to quickly talk about the current survival mode. Alright? We're not actually going to jump into the game, and the reason being is because it's really just the same gameplay that you guys already saw over and over again. What we're going to do is just kind of get into the menu of it and talk about what's offered here. And it's nice that the current build has survival mode to kind of distract you from the main campaign of the game. But the problem is, it feels very, very incomplete. Again, there's no variety in the survival mode. It's just dogfighting until you die, wave after wave. And it's nice that we have a variety of mechs to choose from, but there's no detail, there's no description, there's no stats being displayed, there's no leaderboards. In fact, I don't feel like there's any reason for me to play survival at all, especially since it doesn't even keep count of my score or how many waves I've completed, so it feels very incomplete. It really does feel like it's just content in there to justify its current price point at its current build. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Again, it's nice that it's in here to distract you and to kind of let the player explore and get feedback on, but you know, it's not the greatest at its current form. Alright, and that's basically it, guys. Let's actually, yeah, why not? Let's jump into a quick survival game while we do our outro, I guess we can say. Overall, Project Nimbus is a very enjoyable flight dogfighting mech game, whatever you want to call it, for what it's trying to do. Alright, what is here in the game so far is of a high caliber. It feels great, it looks great, it plays great. The only thing is that there's not a lot here currently. Now, this is early access. You know, some people will use that as a justifier, and it's not. You know, I would actually understand why people will use that as a justifier. But all the same, you know, for $15, I definitely recommend at least looking more into what you're getting out of this game before you make the final call on your investment. And definitely, if you're not going to make the purchase, at the very least, keep this game on your radar. Keep an eye on it, because what I'm playing so far is absolutely fantastic. It feels great. I just wish there was more of it, and I wish that currently there's more varieties of it. Alright, I hope you guys get what I'm saying. So I'm really excited to see where this game's going to go down the road, especially once it's going to be complete. And I think this game has a bright future. I really do. It feels great, looks great, it plays great. You know, I just want to see more of it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, you know, show me some love, like, share, fave, and comment. But most importantly, help me grow, feed me my vegetables, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Aldershot out.